Myth the Juggernaut, and we're coming at you for our weekly reaction slash breakdown review of Dragon Ball's latest episode. I will be joined by Geeking Out and our newest member, Biff, who is actually I was supposed to host and lead today, but she wants to do it, so I'm gonna let the queen do her thing. So I want to, thank all of you guys who actually are on board with us doing this. Once Dragon Ball Super's run is complete, we're actually going to keep this show, but in a different format where we're going to actually be talking about Dragon Ball theories. So that would definitely be a good thing, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'm going to get this intro started. Let's go. The man, the myth, the juggernaut, Alex Lexus, partnered with Fullscreen.net. Check them out. They're good for you. The saltiest intro ever, brought to you by What You Got in Your Crib, Michael Hurdle, michaelhurdle.com. Make sure you check him out for your graphic design needs. And speaking of Michael Hurdle, he has, from time to time, he does Street Fighter streams and has a formidable bison, aka Dictator Vega, for our Japanese folks. So if anything, make sure you sub to his channel. You'll get some interesting matches in there. So with that, I am going to pull in the rest of the crew. Hopefully it's not too noisy. And here we go.
Even honestly, you can just read the and
What?
then just make comments live. You just talk, so you can answer them right then and there.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
What's going on, staff? We got Geeking Out,
Staff.
Biff.
What works for you?
What? You know what? We gotta renegotiate stuff. Don't we stop? But you know what? No Gaming Order. I forgot to mention that On Your Knees is also in the Discord server, so he may weigh in. But
No, I'm not.
what?
There we go.
If you are not, I'm gonna have to boot you, brother.
Well, you can't boot me. I'm too fat.
Why?
You know what? Chris of Destruction. That's what's going on. Unbelievable. But with that, I just want everybody to give a quick introduction before we get started. Starting off with Queen B, Biff. What's going on?
Hey guys, it's Biff, aka the Black Roma. I will be giving you the rundown today, and at the end of the show, I actually have a little surprise for you guys. I know some people are disappointed about Super ending, but we have something else coming.
And just like I said in the intro, I'm feeling some kind of way because I was gonna lead, and she took it from me, but I'm not arguing. Unbelievable. On Your Knees, what's going on, man? You playing Dragon Ball Fighters on PC? How you enjoying it?
It's all right so far. The online's still a bit of a mess, but you discovered that a little or two doing certain things. So
Yeah.
well, at least they doubled they more than doubled the capacity, so you can actually get a room now.
Well, right now it's actually the most popular fighter on Steam this weekend. So,
Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it's new, but we'll see how that works. And
It made a boatload of money for Arc System Works, I'm sure.
yeah, because it's available on all platforms, or
Yeah.
major platforms.
It's
so.
also $95 for the full thing, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Long story short, this
50
practice
plus
of
35.
plus piecing out the game. I bet you the other characters are already completed, so it is what it is. But moving on, Shinwar, Geeking Out. We are on the heels of running a successful tournament. You can actually check out that stream. It's on the NewGamingorder.com front page. And I'll also give the archive to Shinwar so he can put it on Geeking Out if he chooses so. But Shinwar, any feedback and any updates?
I'm trying to watch the Royal Rumble. Now, I want to
What?
thank everyone that came out and participated in the tournament this past Friday. Thank you for everybody, who just supported and all those that worked and toiled and labored. And shout out to the Microsoft Store and Francis. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for all your hard work and just accommodating us. So I look forward to the next one in February. So that's it.
I want to add that I didn't have anything to drink while I was doing commentary, so I'm just saying that was slave labor. But you know, I got. All right, so without further ado, since you know Biff doesn't want to be a backseat driver, I'm going to let you. I'm gonna let you start things off. Go ahead.
All right, guys. So we are working on episode 125. We're getting close to the end, and per usual, we started out this episode with Goku and Vegeta fighting Jiren. And as usual, for the last few episodes, they haven't been making any progress, and Jiren still hasn't exactly reacted. The reaction that we're looking for, we still haven't found. But also, if you noticed in the stands, Gohan made a comment about how he's confident in Goku and Vegeta to beat Jiren. And Beerus actually acknowledged Gohan this time instead of calling him Goku's kid, which he loves to call him. He called him Gohan.
Earning respect there. So
yeah, I don't know if you guys really want to weigh in on like the beginning of this.
Well,
it wasn't much.
Well, yeah, you know, I think that the dialogue between Beerus and Gohan didn't really serve much purpose for what the episode led off to, because we're just like the past few episodes, you're starting off with Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren, and it just seems like an afterthought because obviously we're focusing on 17, Frieza, and Toppo, but with the way that the fight was going, it seems a bit mundane to me. There was just like, it's the same thing that's been happening in the last couple of episodes. They're Vegeta and Goku are putting all their effort and power into it, not doing a dent to Jiren at all. So to be honest with you, if they're gonna show it like that, they shouldn't show it at all. They should just focus on the other fights. And then
just do a full episode.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just my thoughts on it, because they're going at them, and I'm no longer impressed by it at this point. I just want to see some progress. Just when if you get to the other portions, you'll see what I mean. But that's my thoughts on it.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think only 1 minute transpired between the last episode and this one, because the last episode ended at 6 minutes left. This one was 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Every episode from here on out is 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I gotta disagree only because
well,
they're holding it out. They don't want us to forget, obviously, about Goku, Vegeta, and Jiren, but it switched its roles. That part is the B story. So they're showing the other characters, 17, Frieza, even with Dispo Gohan or whatever, is just focusing on them, and then it's gonna quickly shift. Obviously, next week it's gonna be Vegeta and Toppo, but they're just not letting us forget, like, hey, there are other characters, and I think it's good. It makes us wait a little bit. It's not like 8 episodes gone by and it's like, oh wow, where are these other characters? But it's just showing, like, behind the scenes, they like you said, Alex, they still haven't put a real dent in Jiren yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, the time is clicking. That's what, episode 125. Last episode is 131. So
and 131 is basically not going to be the very last battle. That's going to end in 130. So.
Right. And then you have the aftermath.
Epilogue.
Yeah, the aftermath.
Yeah.
So, moving on, after we notice, Goku and Vegeta fighting Jiren again, Goku and Vegeta starts arguing, and of course, Vegeta tells Goku not to order him around because Goku tells him to attack. They go back to the brotherly love, but then we get to the real meaty portion of this episode. It cuts to Android 17. He's fighting Toppo. So as we come in, we see Android 17 shooting. Android 17 and Toppo are going to get at it. And the energy barriers are enough to keep Toppo's Justice Flash attack at bay. So basically, they're just kind of at an even portion right here. They're just going back and forth. So then 17 then kind of goes on the offensive, and then Toppo kind of tell him, that's not going to work. Is this how strong you are? But we go back to the stands, and we note that Piccolo says 17 is attacking a lot, but nothing, basically he's not hitting him. And 18 says, no, that's what he wants to do. Basically, since he has infinite stamina, infinite energy, he's just going to pelt Toppo either off the stage or for the last 6 minutes. Of course, whoever has the most people in the universe at the end of the tournament wins. So all 17 is thinking, I just have to survive.
Now, you know what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then right as that said, Topo finds a hole in one of 17's attacks, and he goes basically for the killer hit. And then
now, here's the thing. To Topo's credit, before I give the floor to Shinwar, Topo is a strategist like no other. Like, I have to admit, like, I was impressed when 17 was throwing the barrage of key blast to try to, in the hopes of trying to run the timeout. You know, and Topo, like, as he was getting, you know, locked down with those attacks, like, you saw his instincts where he's like, okay, I see an opening. It's like you saw it in slow-mo. He's like, okay, there. And then he was able to break free from being pinned down. You know, I was impressed by that, you know, so, but Shinwar, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, 17, a lot of people did not figure 17 would be in it this long. Obviously, we thought he'll be out before Gohan, but 17's a smart fighter, and he's really special, man. It's something about this guy, yo. I mean, from his attitude and behavior to, you know, his fighting, but I mean, we all know it's coming to an end for him.
Yeah.
But to see him go toe-to-toe with Topo, it shows a testament to 17's own strength, yo. And like it was noted in the anime, his energy is inexhaustible because he's an android.
Yeah.
So this guy can go all night, yo.
And the one thing to say, like, he's very cunning. He's a lot like, you know, the resistance with Gohan getting eliminated before 17. You know, now it's like the guy is a strategist. He knows what he's doing. You know, so I give him a lot of credit. But on your knees, any thoughts on, you know, 17's role right now, and then how that first half of the fight with Topo was transpiring before Frieza gets involved?
Not really. You guys covered almost everything.
What? Damn, we killed it. Beat the horse. All right, Bill, continue.
All right, so after that, Topo finds an opening on 17, and just when we think he's about to do his little, all his justice into one final key blast, he fires at 17, but 17 comes back with an equally large blast, which is, it kind of surprised me, actually. So he's quickly pushed to the edge of the tournament stage, just as he's about to fall over. Who comes to the rescue? Dun, 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 dun. Frieza, and he shoots Topo in the back.
Oh, can I jump in on this?
Yeah.
That was shades of the beam struggle from the Cell games, where Gohan and Cell are going back and forth, and then Topo is actually overtaking 17, and then all of a sudden you see Topo like he grimaced for a second. And I'm like, yep, Frieza shot him in the back. Now,
I knew something was up.
That was a nice Easter egg they put in there.
Yeah, I was like, and you know, 17 was holding his own, but even with his limitless, you know, stamina, Topo's sheer force, his power, like he would, if it wasn't for Frieza's interference, we might have had a situation. Yeah, it might have been bad for 17, you know.
No, I'm telling you, Topo, you know, obviously he's second fiddle to Jiren, but if Jiren was not in this tournament, Topo would be the strongest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, from that universe.
Well, yeah, that universe. But Topo is strong, yo.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to get Chris of Destruction start on that exchange.
I'm gonna quote Team Forster here. Power levels are bullshit.
What?
Android 17 should have doesn't. 1 second. Sorry about that.
He put pancakes in his mouth. What the heck? Sorry.
Pancakes? What?
Sorry.
What? No, it's just that there's such a difference in power level. You really shouldn't even stand a chance. Instead of going toe to toe, you should have kept with all the gorilla type tactics with him.
Okay, I agree. I agree.
Wait, but you know, Chris, that was 17's idea, was to let the time drain out.
Yeah.
Since they have more members. You know what I mean?
It was just survive until the time runs out. It wasn't really about trying to eliminate somebody per se. It was, can I keep him at bay and run around until time runs out?
Yeah, I guess he knew that he can't beat you know, somebody of that caliber straight up. So, you know, trying to use cunning tactics and, you know, like, well, I guess in protest, it's like, yeah, he is using some sort of guerrilla tactics and just not like doing anything conventional. He's not trying to eliminate the guy. He probably can't.
He isn't going toe to toe with him, or face to face, I should say. He's staying on.
Okay, so Biff. Okay. So we got Frieza shooting Popo in the back.
Yeah. So now shit's about to get real. All right, so as Frieza is blasting Topo in the back, he asks 17, is he playing around? So I kind of feel like if he asked him that, I feel like 17 got a little bit more potential than we thought. I don't know, that kind of threw me off a little bit because Frieza asked him, was he playing around? But then he also continues to taunt and agitate and mess with Topo. You don't want to do that. So finally, what we've been waiting for, Topo gets one big large blast at his back, and 17 blast managed to overwhelm Topo. So now, Frieza and 17 have worked together. Where's Topo? We in the stands have noticed that Topo has not, you know how they transport over once they're put out? He's not there. So we know that Whis knows that Topo's not dead. So who appears? Topo in this big, huge, bulky form with this dark red, purplish aura looking like a demon from hell.
Now hold on, can we pause right there? Yo, first of all, he abandoned the whole justice thing. That was it.
That was my point. You know what else I noticed? Did you see how Jiren reacted?
Yeah, okay, so you're absolutely right. Jiren stopped, Goku, Vegeta stopped.
Yeah, they noticed the key.
And Jiren says, Topo, so you made up your mind. So we already knew he was a candidate for this, but I think, this is just my opinion and my observation, I think what was keeping him from going full-blown God of Destruction or taking the position was the justice aspect. Remember what he said?
But he was training with them, though, wasn't he?
Remember what he said? He said, I'm just going to paraphrase, pretty much he was saying he doesn't believe in justice no more. And then he said, justice and evil, I'm above that now.
Yeah.
So he abandoned all that, but I think the ground that was holding him from going that way was his strong affinity for justice. And you're right, Jiren noticed that and he stopped. So, yo, that's Topo was OP, yo.
And then I did.
Toriyama made Topo like super OP.
Now, you know what? I have two things. Now, Topo, it looked just like how Goku and Vegeta were in a place of desperation and, breaking their limits and such. Like, that was kind of reminiscent here. And then it was like the way it happened. You see Frieza with the death beams, he kept shooting Topo in the back, right? And Topo got overtaken, and Frieza was talking hella trash, like, you know what, you're garbage, this and that, blah blah blah, trash should be taken out. I mentioned this because that's gonna rear its head later on, but real quick, if you look at the writing, just like you said,
Topo was written as the protagonist.
For their world, yeah.
Well, no. For the show that we're watching right now, we're rooting for Universe 7, right? That's who we love and adore. But you got to look at the writing. The writing was supposed to show that Topo was the protagonist. 17, and definitely Frieza's the antagonist.
Oh yeah.
Just like with Goku, Kale, and Caulifla, Goku was written as the antagonist right before they were to fuse together. I love that. Because the tournament, it's a free-for-all, so you're like, well, who's good, who's bad? And in this writing, Topo got fed up, and look what happened.
And you know what? I wanted to give a shout-out to Shin Raven. He said, F that, bring back, screw Universe 7, bring back Universe of Love. What? Ribrianne in those...
No.
What?
Yo, no comment.
No comment. You just talking now.
but one thing that I noticed with Topo, like, that was cool, that the drama where 17's blast finally overtook Topo. I thought he was eliminated. I thought, but then again, the spoiler thing, one thing, but the way it looked, it made it look like he could have potentially got taken off the fighting stage.
It's meant to do that. It's meant to that edge, on the edge of your seat,
What is that called? Suspense. There you go.
Suspense, right. We know, the audience, we know he's not going to be eliminated, not by an attack like that. And that's why when you look at Whis looked over to his left and noticed nobody, Topo wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it's to give that added effect, like, wow, that was a powerful. It's possible, but nah, it didn't work.
Okay, and that pushed Topo over the edge to make that desperate decision, like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give in to, you know, becoming the next god of destruction for Universe 11. Now,
that Hakai energy, yo.
Now, what's funny, like, what happens to Belmont now? Like, does he step down?
Yeah,
I know. I read somewhere they said the only way that Topo would then become a god of destruction is if that god of destruction either dies. I think he has to die.
But then won't their Supreme Kai die since they're linked?
That is
no. I read that you can have one without the other, but I think it's like for so long. That's why you have the candidates.
Oh, to
so
keep it.
Something should happen, they could immediately be replaced. But if both were to die at the same time, then the whole universe is gone.
Okay. Oh, and Shin Raven's like, y'all hating. What?
Terrible.
Wow. You ain't talking about River Ann.
But you know what's crazy about that dynamic? Like, okay, you got Belmont. He's god of destruction. Topo's a candidate for god of destruction. And yet Jiren is the one that can defeat a god of destruction. That's crazy.
Now, here's my thing. And, you know, on your knees, maybe he'll be able to weigh in with this. How come Jiren was distracted during the fight, right? Then you got Topo going god of destruction. Now, here's the thing. When Dragon Ball is done, right? And we go into Dragon Ball theories after, you know, to replace this. You know, who's stronger? This new Topo of destruction or Jiren? I'm
still Jiren. I'm
still Jiren, because Jiren hadn't even powered up yet.
Yeah, and they already said he's the one, well, so that can defeat a god of destruction. He can already beat Belmont. Belmont knows that.
Yeah, wow.
And when you say Jiren, everybody in Universe 11 is automatically shook. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
When you say Topo, they're like, yeah, he's good. But you say Jiren, and like their eyes get wide. They're like, you know, he who shall not be named type stuff.
Yeah. But okay, but let's move on to Topo with his God of Destruction diet. His meal of destruction, and Jenny Craig, and he getting all this muscle.
Buff, yo.
And then he grew like 2 feet.
He did too.
I didn't see the syringe. Where'd the roids come from?
I don't know.
Yeah. He was like, I'm about that fire now.
For the most part, he skipped leg day. In this one, yo, his legs, yo, come on, yo.
I'm like, yo, he got so big, he like bust out of his uniform, which is, it was crazy. I like Topo's transformation. He was OP AF, but I did like it.
He looked like the boss in a video game, yo.
Yeah, he do like a boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, with that, now he's using Hakai energy, you know, destruction, and as you can see,
we ain't got that far yet.
What? Shinwar mentioned it.
But I didn't go into detail. It looked like you were.
Oh, you know what? Let me get the back of the bus. Go ahead.
Thank you, Rosa.
What?
But soon as
set the bad example, Alex.
But soon as Topo reveals this his new form, Frieza tried to shoot a death beam out of him initially, and it disappeared once it hit him. As soon as it did that, all the guys of destruction, and basically including Beerus, eyes got wide. Beerus immediately recognized what it was. And Belmont basically kind of confirmed it, that it is indeed the power of destruction, and that Topo was a candidate to become one of the guys of destruction. Now, of course, the people in the show didn't know. We already knew that. We knew it was coming, but of course, everybody there didn't know it. So now, Margarita, however you want to pronounce her name, says it's now time to show the results of their training, and Belmont basically celebrates this birth of the God of Destruction, Topo. So from there, Frieza laughs, and you know, Frieza's still being this butthole, still agitating, still taunting, and he basically fires a Hakai at Frieza. Topo fires a Hakai at Frieza. Frieza thinking of, I don't know if you remember, but some of the early episodes, and they tried to come and get him and Goku out earlier, and they had a little bit of that power of God of Destruction. Frieza basically underestimates how powerful Topo is. So he tries to catch it with one hand, and that just didn't work. He tried to do it with 2 hands, and again, it still didn't work. Topo,
he did it before, though.
Now,
that was what a small amount, though.
I have a theory. Remember, when he took that Hakai energy, it was from one of those minions and not directly from a god of destruction.
Mm-hmm. And then you got to think that was just a little bit. He put that, you know, that was a little ball. That was a huge sphere that Topo shot.
Yeah, he was trying to wipe Frieza off the map.
He was, and you know, that's another thing I had noticed. I don't know, do you think Topo has full control?
It looks like it.
It looks like it.
I don't know if he has full control of that, you know, that power. This is the first time that he's reached that power level per se. Because Belmont just says he's celebrating basically the birth of it. So this is the first time that Topo's has his godlike power. So I'm not, you know, I wonder if he has control. Because the way that Jiren looked, I kind of wonder if Jiren's got to come in and, you know, set Topo straight, or is Topo gonna do like a Khalifa thing and kind of wild out, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he did already. He broke the stage.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Wow. You know what? Can you talk about that?
Wait. Hold on. Hold on, Biff. I think he is in control. Remember what he said to Frieza? He said, "I could kill you, but if I do, I would be disqualified."
Yeah, he did.
I think he is.
That's when he was holding Frieza by the head and about to crush his skull.
I think he's in control, but it's just massive energy. And one other thing, yo, the writing is kind of crazy. They allowed all this stuff?
But see, that's my thing, cause like they was yelling at Khalifa for her wilding out, doing all this stuff, but then they got Topo around here
breaking the stage.
Just doing whatever he wants to, and the Zenos are just like, yay! Oh my God. And I'm like, before it was an issue, but now it's okay.
Yeah, the rules are all over the place. Yeah, and then not only that, now you're jumping from pieces of the stage. Like, isn't flying not permitted? Like, what?
And then my thing is, what's out of bounds now?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to say at the bottom of the stage, perhaps. If you fall down, you fall down.
Like Smash Brothers.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's a good point. Very good point.
Okay.
So so then Frieza basically gets caught, and it looks like Frieza is destroyed. But again, once you look, Frieza does not come to the stands. So we know Frieza isn't dead if you paid attention. It's just Frieza's currently out. So
he got knocked out of golden form. With the
now he was knocked out of golden form, but he wasn't knocked out completely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was like, okay, so maybe he's doing another Topo thing where they thought Topo was out, but So then this is when Topo announces that he's beyond justice and evil. And now his only will is to survive. Yeah. Now, seeing that kind of, I guess, he shook the table a bit, because Topo was the #1 for justice and, the greater good. And then you turn around, and he went from the good guy to basically, essentially, not necessarily the bad guy, but now he is the bad guy now.
Oh, shoot, Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm. So, basically, when he says he's only there to survive, and Android says, basically, me too, Topo's kind of like taking a bag, like, what you say? And, 17 at that point was like, nothing, I'm just talking to myself. Yeah. So then he fires a non-Hakai key blast, and and then 17 tries to fight back by using his own blast, but of course, Topo's aura just destructs it because, the power of destruction, it put a shield around him, basically. Basically, he has like a godly Hakai, which basically can change. Either he can use it to attack or he can use it to defend. And at this point, he's using it to defend his body. But 17, with his smart android thinking self, he says there's got to be a weakness. There's got to be like an opening. Mm-hmm. And basically, Topo keeps firing his blast at 17, and 17, as of now, is still able to dodge. And what they noticed in the stands, or especially Beerus, I've noticed this episode, Beerus is these past few episodes, he's been very observant. Normally it's Whis that gives you like the rundown on things, but it's been Beerus that has been like, hey, this is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is.
Well, it depends though, because he's a god of destruction as well, and he noticed, what the drawback with this new god of destruction on the battlefield with using the Hakai. I won't say nothing, but
I was getting ready to say, because you really, I'm almost there, Alex. I'm almost there.
Oh, go ahead.
So then, basically, Beerus noticed that Topo needs time to charge his Hakai. And that 17 basically needs to focus on the small window where Topo is surrounded with the Hakai, but he's still charging it. So that wasn't exactly communicated. I don't know, maybe I missed that. That wasn't communicated. It was just said in the stand. So I don't know if 17 knows that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or at this point, 17 is still running around trying to figure out how is he going to get an opening.
Yeah,
So,
I think he's still trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah, so right now, after that, Topo basically corners 17 again, and he's about to fire another blast at Frieza. I mean, not at Frieza, but he's about to fire another blast at 17. But here comes Frieza, who's tremendously pissed off. He's hurt. He's hurting.
Hold on. Before you go ahead, did you see the homage and reference to Frieza? Think back to when Frieza and Goku met and Goku hit Frieza with the Spirit Bomb. Did not Frieza have the same eye out? Did he not still have the same leg on top of the rock? Did you catch that?
Oh wow!
That was a reference to that. That was a blatant reference to that.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
Easter egg for you.
Yep.
And you know what? If you're not eagle-eyed, you'll miss it because it's like, hey, what's going on? You know.
It was a lot going on in the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So then Frieza, he's angered. He's built up all this power. He tells Toppo, you know what? I'm about to charge enough power, and if I can destroy a planet, I can destroy you with it. You know what? This is the part that really made me laugh and let me know how strong Toppo was. This man got a gumball-sized piece of energy, flicked it at Frieza's attack, and blew it away.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
A
marble-sized
version of the Hakai. He just like pink. I'm like, what? Wow.
It's like he laughed when he flicked it off, like he laughed.
Wow.
So that just, So once he did that, Frieza, of course, was surprised, taken aback, and that was his opening. And he punched the shit out of Frieza. Frieza was drooling at the mouth.
Oh, he hit him with the hysterectomy punch that On Your Knees has made reference to.
That punch, I initially thought his fist went through his stomach. Yo.
That's what I thought. But I was like, I know he couldn't kill him because then he'd be disqualified.
Yeah, he worked him over, yo.
Yeah, he hit him with the abortion punch. Right on your knees. Yeah, he's the one that he came up with that, making fun of Opie and Anthony, Mike Tyson, like uterus. Like what?
Well, you're the one that was really into it.
Yeah, he died.
I made you listen to it once, and you're doing it 15 years later.
Shut up.
Hold on, I got a question for every. Now, do you think he deserved that, especially when Toppo had him by the skull, squeezing him?
Yep.
The agony that he experienced. Do you think Frieza really deserved
that? Listen, karma is a bizatch because a lot of what Frieza has done and making people suffer, that was just a culmination of getting that. And not only that, when I made reference to Frieza referring to Toppo as trash, when Toppo was crushing Frieza's skull, he's like, what was it you said about trash? And then he kicked him. It looked like Frieza was gonna go over the off the stage.
We ain't got that yet.
John Cena? They stomping John Cena.
Hey, that's alright. But yeah. So Toppo, it looked like Frieza had to swallow crow on that and be like, oh yeah, he's getting humbled. Toppo kicked him. He punted him to the 50-yard line and was about to go off the stage, but 17 throws a rock. Or prevents Frieza from getting eliminated. But at this point, what can Frieza do? He's really messed up now.
Oh yeah, he had to hold that out.
He has no energy. Yeah, he had to go lay down somewhere. But then I also think that's gonna play into the episode following next week's episode. Because now Frieza's laying around, but I feel like he's also sitting there, recuperating.
Or what if? Well, I think Frieza's currently the hurricane?
Did the hurricane come back?
Oh my god!
And he got eliminated. He got in my head, Charles.
Okay, no. So with Frieza over the side, right? What if Goku, Vegeta, Jiren, Toppo all get eliminated, and then Frieza's still over there, and then he wakes up and he's Victor? Imagine
that's funny. I know, right? You won by default.
Yeah, that'd be messed up.
That's not good though, cause
he get the Dragon Balls then.
Exactly.
Well, is it just one person or the universe? that gets it.
No, the universe gets credit for winning, but the last person or the MVP gets the Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like everybody. Like
no, it's just the winner or the MVP gets the Dragon Balls. Everybody else just gets a good job. You made it. You're alive.
Wow, this is like Survivor Series. Come on. All right.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
So after 17 knocks Frieza back onto the stage, Android comes back. Android 17 comes back. He's just refusing to back down. Like he's basically gonna figure it out, or he's gonna do something with Topo. And then that is when they let you know it is 5 minutes left in the Tournament of Power.
Now, for the preview of next week, y'all steps in to take on Topo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think 17 is out next week based off the leak.
Yeah.
But I believe he will be out in episode, what is this, 125? And 127, pretty much the title was like the final barrier. So you know what that means. But,
now, I did want to make mention, there's some things, I'm naturally we missed, but, notice when Topo was in his destruction form, the barrier for 17 started breaking.
Yeah, that's how
strong Topo was.
Yeah, so Chris of Destruction over here causing problems, breaking stages and stuff. This is gonna be rather interesting. And with the way the previews went, it does kind of lead into why some of the thoughts of life risking blow. Like Vegeta's probably just gonna go all out to try and get rid of Topo. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm kind of thinking. This may be Vegeta's sacrificial episode, but then also the title that says Vegeta surpasses a god.
Yeah. Now you know what's funny about that?
Well, the title had a question mark too, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
What makes Vegeta break off from that fight with Jiren?
I think that the same thing with Goku.
Jiro. That's probably what's going to happen.
You think so?
Yeah. What?
Topo's going to go over to where Jiren is.
Oh.
They'll have a chance encounter, like they're being pushed across the arena.
So what do you think? 2v2?
I think it's gonna eventually.
It's gonna be 1v1, but going at the same time.
Yeah, I think.
But then there was a thing that said Vegeta fights Jiren and Topo at the same time. So what happened with Goku? Maybe he got knocked out some.
Okay, yeah, that's a theory.
The leak said that Jiren and Topo pretty much team up against Vegeta.
So that's giving more evidence to 17 and Frieza, getting the bye-bye, because in the preview,
not this episode,
or probably at the end of the next episode, because in the preview it showed that the stage was breaking and 17 was falling into a void.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, 17 will be out not next week, but the week after.
127, yeah.
127, yeah.
Oh man,
so I think that title is entrusting hope to the final barrier.
Right, so thank you. Yeah, you can read between the lines.
Yeah, because Android's energy barrier technique is basically the barrier.
Just like with Gohan's last stand, that was the hint.
Yeah. But they need to stop doing titles like that so we can get that wow factor, or just be like, we got Gohan's elimination. We kind of saw it coming, but let us be shocked by it,
Yeah.
But also, I'm actually looking at this now. It wasn't supposed to be the translation. Whoever translated, somebody else said something about it. Surpassed even a god. That wasn't supposed to be a question mark. It was an exclamation point.
So he's gonna go. I mean,
so in the preview, surpassed even a god! Exclamation point! Vegeta's desperate blow. So
yeah, I mean, somebody was like, "Oh, he's gonna did him sacrifice himself." I don't think he's.
No, I think they're done with the whole sacrificial thing. I think now it's just gonna be knockout, drag out.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's good because it's a callback to Topo and Vegeta started fighting.
Initially, yeah.
And we never got to see. We never saw it.
Yeah.
Distracted. You all right? I think that might be Vegeta coming back. Like, all right.
Okay.
Jiren and Goku. I think he might actually hand Goku off. Like, hey, you go ahead, hold on to him for a minute. Let me go finish unfinished business.
And now I'm thinking, I'm just looking at the future episode. Eventually, Goku's going back to Ultra Instinct. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
I wonder what's gonna trigger it though.
Yeah, I think something happening to Vegeta is gonna trigger it. Yeah.
It's Vegeta and Toppo gonna wind up knocking each other out.
I'll accept that. I'll take that.
All right.
And let it just,
I think they're gonna do something. They're gonna wind up knocking each other off the ring or out of the arena to knock each other out, and that's just like
right. And then it'll be Goku. Well then, but I want to say Goku, Jiren, and then I'm telling you, there's gonna be a twist at the end of this. Knowing Toriyama, there's a twist. There's a twist.
Now, on your knees, what are your thoughts? Do you have any theories, conspiracy theories as to what could potentially happen?
Let me see. One of the other universes is going to jump into...
What?
What's that?
Huh?
Nah, I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh, you mean one of the 4 universes that didn't participate? They're going to jump in, do a run-in?
I don't think so, because I think they're going to be like, I'm minding my business right now, because I don't want to mess with Zen Time.
That was a joke, but they're all going to sit down and discuss their differences over Team Crumpets.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right. So, Biff, bring us home.
All right, you guys. So we bring it in. Basically, we're waiting on the next episode, which will be basically Vegeta and Toppo, from what we understand. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. Because before we could do the manga and we could tell you what's going to happen and kind of have an idea. But right now, Toriyama's just doing other stuff. The writing's been a little bit all over the place. So it's kind of hard. It's hard. I don't know. Okay. But I'm excited. So we got 1 full month left. And also, I told you guys I was going to give you a surprise. I've been in talks with Alex. And I know Super is ending. But what I did notice, thought about before, Dragon Ball Z was not during the podcast era. I did run a poll. If you do follow me on any platform, social media platforms, I did a poll and I asked guys whether they wanted to see Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, or Sailor Moon. Those 3 were chosen. Oh, well, Bleach was kind of in the podcast era, but because they had longevity and they also are very popular. And the overwhelming results, of course, Dragon Ball Z won. So after Super, we'll probably maybe have like a week break, and then we're gonna get started on Z. I know a lot of people watch Z. A lot of people watch Z, but we talk and we relate a lot of things to Z from Super. From Z to Super rather.
We're gonna revisit Z.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
Biff and I were talking about it.
Yeah, I get a chance for people to relearn the characters and relearn the moves and understand where they're coming from and see some growth. The storylines weren't exactly that great in Z, but it's nice to revisit it. So, those childhood memories of you sitting there watching Toonami, you guys were going at it. So, next thing, I would love to have you guys on the podcast as well. You do offer great insight. So, hopefully, we'll get that thing started soon, and
for sure,
I'm glad to see you guys then.
Okay, and the reason that this project has started to flourish because we had so much great feedback doing this with Biff, Shinwar, on your knees on this show, Project Justice on another, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you know what?
Mysterio?
The spoiler! Oh, that's Rey Mysterio? Oh, hold on. Alright, but in any case, with that, on your knees, do you have any final words for us?
No.
You know what? You're fired. Unbelievable. It's like, no, that is not my name. Wow. Cooking on your knees. That's the next podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think people know that. We were talking about that offline.
Oh, we're this
cooking show called Cooking on Your Knees.
No comment. We'll talk about that on a future show. But and last but not least, Mr. Geek-N-out. Any final words?
I'm sad to see Dragon Ball Super end because we have so much stuff to cover. Like you got Oob, the Planet Sadala arc. It's so much stuff dealing with other universes, but we'll get the movie at the end of the year and then a brand new series next year. Yeah. So, I mean, and you know what? I don't want. Well, I don't know because we already know the ending of Z, and this is, the ending of Z, and this takes place right before the last episode of Z, so most likely there probably will be a time for it. But I'm excited for a new series next year. We just have to wait a whole year, though.
Well, keep in mind we had 3 years straight. It's 3 years straight, non-stop. So I mean, we have to, you know, understand we're blessed in having that. So. All right. All right. So to wrap things up, I want you guys to make sure you're checking out Geek-N-out Official for comics, pop culture, toys, and tech. If I said it in the right order. Biff, you'll be able to see her here on New Gaming Order and from our other project, From My Experience. Shout out to Thumb Thrasher Gaming, who also is the CEO of that venture. So you know, we're on different platforms there, and you know, NewGamingorder.com is up and running once more. So this podcast will be archived there. So just go to NewGamingorder.com. It will hub you to everything else. So with that, you know, the man, the myth, the juggernaut with the team. We'll see y'all next week. We're trying to do it on Sunday again if all works out. Now, Biff, quick announcement. There's one weekend I'm gonna be at military duty, so we may have to do that one. Next week's on Monday. No, not next week. The week after that, the 10th and 11th. So, but I'll keep you guys updated. But with that, we are out. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
See you guys later.
All right.